Welcome back, everybody. My name's Laura Scott. I'm a partner and the Sydney office lead here in Australia. Today I'm joined by Kath, an associate who has been with us for 9 months. Welcome, Kath.
Thanks, Laura.
And we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of moving from a large consulting firm to a boutique consulting firm like ADAPTOVATE. We're going to unveil some of the myths potentially about a small consulting firm and what it can still offer you. But then also absolutely acknowledging the grounding that a large consulting house can give you as well. Mm. So welcome, Kath. Great to have you here.
Thanks. Excited to be here.
So, Kath, love you to tell us a bit about your journey. Take us right back. Talk to the listeners and give them a bit of a view.
Yeah, of course. So I did uni in Dublin, Ireland. So I'm half Irish, half Australian. I studied a Bachelor of Politics, International Relations and French. So
French.
Did that, yep.
Can
French,
you still speak French?
A little bit, but please do not test me. Okay. So I did that for 4 years, did it during COVID. I loved the degree, but COVID in Dublin was a bit tough. So I wanted to move back to Australia. I'd lived in Perth.
So you had been here?
So I had lived in Perth a little bit. I grew up, went to high school there. And I just wanted to move back to Australia, but I also wanted to go to a bigger city than Perth. Okay. So I decided to come to Sydney. I was also fortunate that I had a job offer from one of the consulting firms to come over here. So I took that offer, came on a plane by myself with 2 bags.
Did you? Really? Wow.
And yes, started like the next week. So
no family here, just applied for the role from Dublin?
So applied from Dublin, so had to do all those late night calls.
Oh, wow.
So I had like a 2 a.m. case study and everything.
Oh, geez.
But I kind of like that. I like kind of thriving under pressure. And yeah, got into it and then came over and started like a week later. Wow. I was at that company for 2 years and I had great experiences there, which we can talk about.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so you've come over from Ireland, you're here, you're by yourself. So talk to us about how you first made connections when you came over here.
Yeah, so a big part of connections was the people I knew who had moved over to Sydney from Ireland or from Perth or from some of the other places I lived, but also from work as well. Okay. So the place I was in before, we had a really great cohort. There was a lot of us. There was, I say, like 150 of us, and there was around 60 of us on one project.
Wow, great!
And it was just being around your friends all the time, and it was great. And today, I'm really good friends with a lot of them and catch up with a lot of them. Fun. So that's how I made those early connections straight away.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So was there a moment in time where you were working away and you're in a great team, people you similar age? Where you sort of thought, okay, it's time to make the move? Was there a moment, or was it?
It wasn't a moment. I'd say it was a few different things. I was ready to make the transition to go somewhere smaller because I knew or assumed that going to a smaller boutique consulting firm meant that I would be getting my hands on different projects. I'd be doing a bit more work. I'd be upskilling myself a lot quicker than you would at other firms. And when I went,
and how did you? So you say I knew that. How did you know it?
It's kind of an assumption that I think everyone has. Yeah. Well, especially I think people my age, you just assume there's less people in that company, so you kind of need to rise up and take some of those challenges, which was confirmed during the interview process when everyone kind of explained to me that it's a place where you do get down and dirty, and you do tackle the work. And there's no kind of complaining saying that's out of my scope. It's just do it, teach yourself, learn, and everyone's better from it. So it was an assumption, but I did kind of know it deep down.
Okay. Yeah. And could be quite daunting to some people.
Definitely. It's definitely not for everyone. I really enjoyed my time at my other company because it built some really great foundational knowledge and skills that I wouldn't be here if I didn't have that. However, I wanted a place where I was challenged really harshly every day and I was put on the spot.
Great.
And I know that's not for everyone, but for someone like me, a smaller consulting firm, I think, is a really good choice.
Great. And so as well as on the tools and rolling your sleeves up, I think in the interview process, we would have mentioned to you that the expectation here is that you're in the room with the very senior leaders, you have a role, you're required to speak up with that role, both in-house within ADAPTOVATE and globally within ADAPTOVATE, but also on client. Yeah. Can I get you to share some of your experiences with how that has played out?
Yeah, of course.
And if you start with internal, and then we can go on the work that you've been doing.
Of course. So from day one, it's very much expected, any level you're at, any experience you have opinions and you need to say them and you need to contribute. So there's a really good example where I think it was my second day at ADAPTOVATE. I was still in training, but I was put on a case straight away, which I loved. And I went into a room with a few other people that were on the case, and our founder, Doug, he looked me dead in the eyes, hadn't even said hello to me, didn't even know who I was. He was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Great, this is great. I'm valued here. He wants my opinion." And I said, "I'm new here." And he said, "What do you think?"
Great.
And I thought that was great. Yeah, having someone like that recognize a new person, especially someone who's quite early in her career as well, really made me feel valued.
Great.
Yeah. So that was like an example of internally.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And then, so you're doing some great work with one of our biggest projects at the moment. I'd love you to explain your role there and some of the different aspects of what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
It'd be quite interesting.
Yeah,
for the listeners to know.
It's a hard one. I don't particularly have one role on this project. As I said before, coming to a small place, you're kind of expected to do everything, which I love because no day is the same. Yeah. So like, for example, so the project has to do with an AI solution. I don't know much about AI, but that wasn't really an excuse. Had to upskill and learn and work with developers. So like one day I'll be working with the clients, taking calls with them, running meetings through them, getting everyone aligned on the scope of the project. The next day, so as right now, I'll be doing some prompt engineering, making a prompt for the AI model. And
so did you have any expectation of that the work would go there when you first came in? Did you think it would just be agile consulting?
A little bit. ADAPTOVATE is an agile expert in terms of what their consulting toolkit is. However, from day one, it was made aware to me that we are kind of transitioning a little bit more towards AI as the world is changing. So it wasn't incredibly surprising to me that I'd be working on an AI focused project and have to pick up those skills as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the client work.
Yeah.
So you're working on, so from a machine perspective, you are the powerhouse of the case team. Can I understand more about the size of your case team, and then too your interactions with the client? Are you interacting with the client, and what's your interaction?
Yeah, so the size of the case team, it's a small one at the moment. There's only around 3 or 4 of us at ADAPTOVATE. We do, however, work with other companies, so we're partnering with them, which has been really great to understand how they work and what skill sets they bring to the table. In terms of how we work with the clients, it's quite a close relationship with them. So we'll have like weekly meetings with them. It'll get to the point where like, if they have any questions, they just pick up the phone and call me or text me.
And they're calling you?
Yeah, which is really great.
Fantastic.
And something that I'm really grateful for at a small firm. I think that's a real benefit. There's a lot of trust on everyone at every level. And because I think there's less people to do the job, you have to pick up some things that might be deemed maybe too high, like above my pay grade, which I absolutely love that I'm getting that experience at such a young age as well. And like being trusted as well by the team.
Was there anything from a client perspective that, because you maybe hadn't had that experience before, that when you were handed, you went, oh, wow, okay, not sure how to do that?
Yeah.
Or just haven't done that before? I mean, you're a very personable person. So the customer focus and customer views and engagement is your superpower.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you got that you went, oh, and then how did you tackle it?
Yeah, so a big challenge for me was understanding how to mitigate or deal with issues that arose with clients. Or miscommunication that had happened, which is a normal thing that happens between clients. And then if we're working with multiple partners as well. So I found it really helpful to be able to work so closely with project leads or partners who are on the case and actually get to see how they would tackle it or ask them for support, and then they give it to me and then they allow me to handle it, which has just been so incredible. to be able to be given that sort of platform to own it, and then build my skills in it as well.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to know that even though we are small, we still do have a structure to support
definitely
each project and the capability build as well.
We have a really good apprenticeship model where everyone is teaching everyone something, so it's not just
so you're apprenticing people as well.
Which is very strange to me, but it's really incredible. So like, it's not a case of the up tops are teaching everyone below them. It's a case of, well, I have certain skills and certain experience and I can help if needed, or possibly I pick things up a little bit quicker and then I'm there helping other members. Which
how cool is that? And you would be teaching the leaders, absolutely.
Exactly. Which is just, it's so incredible to be in an environment that allows that.
Yeah, brilliant. So culture. Let's talk about culture and the differences between Big Four. You've mentioned that you had a big cohort where you've come from. We're 150 globally. We have cohorts that run across globe. How have you felt the difference in culture coming to ADAPTOVATE?
So it's when I was at my previous firm, I was around a lot of my cohort a lot of time because there was so many of us, which was really great, but I didn't get much exposure to people at other levels, which I think is something that I was probably yearning a little bit. So coming here, it was a little bit daunting coming and knowing there weren't very many people. There wasn't a huge cohort full of people like me, but then again, it was also really exciting. So I was a bit nervous about coming into that and being amongst people that had years of experience, and here I was super young. But coming here, I found that I've loved being around people that are older and have had more experience because I've grown immensely from them and learned so much from them. But also, like, we do have a really good culture where we do all sit down for lunch and have lunch, and we make that a real priority as well. That's great. We also love to go out for coffee walks. We have like a social running club and everything. We're about to start a ping pong tournament.
Fantastic.
So like,
good fun.
It is.
Can't wait to win.
Exactly. You're gonna have to beat me. But yeah, it's a really good, it's very much a work hard, but also really enjoy who you work with.
Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah, which is great.
So what's something that you would give somebody listening some advice on actually making the change,
making that move? What
was some, like, if you were to write down things on a page, what were your real pros and cons to fill someone's list out for them?
It was quite scary leaving quite a big company that was really globally well known and had quite good training support and structure for that, and had like global recognition. The clients were incredible as well. That was quite scary to leave. But for me and my personality, I knew I needed to be in a place where it was a smaller environment with probably slightly smaller projects, but it meant that I had to do more and I was pushed to my limit, which I know isn't for everyone. But I think if you're someone like me that loves a challenge, loves to work hard, but also really wants to learn a lot really fast, I think a small firm is for you. That's probably the advice I give.
Great. When you were making your decision, we spoke the other day about EVP. And I think, and I was talking to somebody else this morning saying from their daughter's perspective that you put both up on a piece of paper and you do a comparison. What are the comparisons that you think are valid for people to make pros and cons of both?
In terms of EVP?
In terms of EVP and things like that.
Yeah, so just a bit of background, we have a really good employee value program where we're given a certain amount of credit, which we can spend on professional development, health and well-being. But a really great one is visiting one of our global offices for 2 weeks. And it's not the case of, like you could do that and then you can do it once every 5 years. It's a case of when I told Laura was like, do it. Like 100%. Absolutely, you're approved, go straight away. So I'm going to the Polish office in July for 2 weeks, which is incredible. And they're so excited to have me. That's a huge pro, I think, because you want me to grow and you want me to experience the other environments straight away. Whereas in a bigger firm, it might be a little bit harder to get that just because there's so many people. But you really prioritize me going on something like that. And so many of us have, so many people have been to like the Singapore office, the American office, the Canadian office.
And we have heaps come here as well.
Oh, we have so many people who have come here as well. And it really helps connect us quite a bit. Like, it's really not like these offices are really segregated from us. We know them and we know them well, and then we're happy to Slack each other and say, hey, I need help with something, or have you done experience with
the globe closer.
It's incredible.
So just to confirm, not a junket. There is an agenda.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
have put together training.
Oh, absolutely. You have to go with some sort of purpose.
Do you want to actually go into that? Can you talk about what you're going to be doing there, and what the prep you've had to do, and those types of things?
So there's kind of two sides to it. What can I bring them, and then what can they give me? So I'm going to go and give them a lot of, introduce them to the project that I'm on, because it's quite well known around our offices what I'm doing. Get them to understand how that works, what that means for them, and how it can maybe impact some of their clients and how they can introduce it into their business model. But saying that, I'm going there to understand how they work, how they do things, and hopefully learn from them and be able to bring something back from them to our Sydney office as well. So it's a mutual exchange of support and knowledge. Which is great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, Kath, that was really interesting. Thank you. It's really cool to see your journey, to see how brave you were coming from Ireland to Sydney, not even Perth, without family. So well done. That's huge, and a testament to the person that you are and that you bring to our team. And then to hear more about your journey, and the impact that ADAPTOVATE has had on you. So thank you. The work that you are doing on case and in the office, you're a huge part of the team, and I'm really excited to see you grow.
I'm super excited to grow more. Thank you.
And just to know, for all of our listeners, 2025 is a big year of growth for us, with a big focus on recruitment. So I welcome an invitation for a coffee or an introduction to anybody, because globally we have a big focus on recruitment. So please come and join us.